All right, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Tazadak here with Israel. Before I get started, I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to yours and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to Joel chapter 3, going to the Hebrew. So Lord willing, you're edified. Give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. So let's get right into it, right? Joel chapter 3, right? So we went over chapters 1 and 2, right? This chapter, right? The last one actually was a doozy, right? But this one is, it's just the Lord boasting again in the salvation of the nation of Israel, which consists of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? In these last days, right before the downfall of Esau Edom's wicked kingdom, which is a so-called white man according to the Holy Bible, right? Twin brother of a man named Jacob. Genesis 25 and 25 says he came out all red like a hairy garment. That is who you call the wicked today, right? And the remnant waking up in these last days to the nationality and law, statutes, and commandments, right? The righteousness that Yahweh Shem Shai is given, right? Via the Holy Spirit, Rakakwadash, right? Which is the the divine inspiration, right? The breath of life, right? The counsel of the Lord. And it is also the angels, right? Wisdom, right? This wisdom is being made manifest, right? In these last days, right? But anyways, without further ado, this is Joel chapter 3. In the Sepharia, it says chapter 2 or 4, Salakia. But the King James Version is divided into 3 chapters, right? So chapter 3 and verse 1 says, because behold, in the days they, and in time that is, which I will turn back unto the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, representing what? The northern, southern kingdom, right? The 8 lost tribes, right, which were here in the Americas in during the after the Assyrian captivity. That's 858 BC, right? Then you have the southern kingdom, which consists of the West Indians, which are the Benjamites, the the Dominicans, which are the Simeonites. You have the Levites, which are the so-called Haitians today. You have the African Americans today, which are the tribe of Judah, right? The black Jews, right? Jew is just a byword. Christian is a byword. We are Israelites, right? Um, so the southern kingdom fled from Roman persecution after the desolation of the temple in 70 AD, fled into the interiors of West Africa. Now today, they were driven, right, via prophecy. Deuteronomy 28:68 says you will go on slave ships, sold as bondmen, as bondwomen, right? You'll have yokes of iron put upon you, right? Via the curses of Deuteronomy 28 and 15 on down, right? So the southern kingdom was via the transatlantic slave trade, brought to the Americas and afflicted in other parts of the earth. But now you have the tribes back today, and the remnant waking up, 2/3 taking the charagma, right? Revelation 13 and 16, right? And you're going to have the remnant being delivered when Yahweh Shai returns with the chariots of the Most High God, right? But anyways, reads Kaya Hana Ba Yamayim Ha Hama Wa Ba'aitha Ha Haya Ashar Ashayab Atha Shabbath Yahawada Wa Yerushalayim. So it reads, and I will gather unto all the nations, verse 2, Slovakia. Shoot, 1 second. Joel chapter 3, verse 2. And I will gather unto all nations, and bring them down unto the valley, which that word I mock actually means a steep place, right? Or a, what do you call it? Uh, let's see, we can just look that up. Um, a veil, right? Which is a, this is a veil, right? Let's look that up real quick. Uh, veil. Right? So it's like a sort of an open valley, right? I mock, right? Mock of Jehoshaphat, and I will judge amongst them, right? Because it says plead, but that word shapat means judge. Ima means I'm with. Um, the ma is it's inflected, right? So it's a proposition, the speech, and the ma is a suffix, right? Meaning with them, with or amongst in this case, right? There, on behalf of my people, right? Because that word al sometimes it means with or next to. In this case, on behalf. Yah, I'm meaning people. Yah meaning my people. And my inheritance, Israel, which has been that word pazar means dispersed, right? Amongst the nations, and to my land, which has been parted. So it reads Wa kwabataza taya ata kal hagawayim waha radath radathium al imak Yahweh Shapat wana Shapat taya Ima Sham al Amya wa Nachalathya Yasha'ala Ashar Pazarwa Bagawayim wa Atha Aratazaya Khalakwa. Verse 3 says, and towards my people they have cast a lot, and have given a boy in place of a harlot, and a girl they have sold in place of wine, and they have drunk. they have drunk it, right? It reads, Wa'al amya yadwa garal wayatanwa hayalad bazana bazawana wahayalada makarwa bayayan wayashatwa, which happened during the transatlantic slave trade, sub-Saharan slave trade. So Jake was selling Jake, Hamites were selling Jake, and then you had the Arabs selling Jake. So some camps say that it was just uh, it was just the heathen selling Jake. No, the Jake was selling Jake as well, right? Joel chapter 3, verse 4. And even what art thou unto me, Tyre and Zidon, and all the circuits of the Philistines? Reward you a recompense. There will be a recompense upon me. Verse Salakia. So that it reads, reward you a recompense upon me, and lo, a reward will be unto thee, um, on account of me, right? Swiftly and quickly will I return your reward upon your head, right? Which is actually how you would read it. Wagam ma atham laya tazar wa tazayadwan wakal galiel wath uh, palashath hagamal atham mashalamyam alya wa'im gamalium atham alya qual mahara ashayab gamal kum bara'ash kum. That word for coast, it actually means circuit. Like Galilee, the word Galilee actually just means circuit. Galilee of Gentiles, it means circuit of Gentiles, right? As in the region of the Gentiles. So what is the Lord saying here, right? The Lord is basically saying that He's going to repay to the Hamites what they did in selling Jake, which already happened basically. Because I mean, look at Africa. There's some good places that are rich and built up, but as a whole, you got Esau. You got his hands. He has his hands over there. You have Moab. He has his hands in there. And as a whole, there's a lot of talk. Africa's all messed up, right? You got guerrilla groups, so on and so forth. A lot of corruption. So that's what the Lord did. He basically brought the land of Ham very low because of their trespass, right? And this happened already, right? Why? Verse 5 says, which my silver and gold thou hast taken, and my precious things, goodly things, thou hast brought into your temple, which reads Ashar, Kasapya, Wazahabya, Laquachtham, Wama Hamadya, Hatabium, Ha Ba'atham, La Hayakal Yakam. Verse 6, and the sons of Judah and the sons of Jerusalem thou hast sold unto the sons of the Greeks, because that word Yawan, right? Yawan, the original Yawan, Salaki, is actually son of Japheth, right? Salaki, but according to the historical accounts, right, Esau, Edom, right, took over the Japhites, right, took on their customs, right? They were called Macedonians at first, right? And then via Alexander the Great, right, you had Hellenization, which was they Hellenized, they made the known world follow Greek customs, which were originally Japhetic customs. The original Greeks were the Japhites, which are the Polynesians today, the Samoans, and so on and so forth, Hawaiians, right? So this would actually read to the sons of the Greeks, right? If you have those your spiritual lenses on account of to make to go afar off from their border, to cause to be afar off, to cause them to be removed far off from their border, right? Because the word rachak, it actually means, right, to be far away, right? So it reads Wabanya Yahawada, Wabanya Yerushalayim, Makartham, Labanya, Hayawanyam, Lamayan, Harachyak, Rachyak Ma'al, Gabal Ma. Verse and it didn't necessarily happen in that particular order, right? There is an account where the Hamites or the Arabs or the so-called white man sold, right, the tribes onto the Greeks. It's actually referencing Esau, right, and these various slave trades, right, all bundled in one, all mentioned in one verse, right? Because you got to remember this: the scriptures are written in um, in code, right? Because if the prophets were to say, right, that okay, this is America Babylon Great, this is that, and okay, uh, Georgia is going to be near America Babylon the Great, or it's going to be one of the states. Esau would not let the scriptures be published, right? So that was the iniquity of the Hamites, right? Of Esau, of the Arabs, right? You read in the previous chapter that the Lord said He would take it, the North Army, put them in a desolate area, right? Which represents the nations, but right, you have Esau, Psalms 83, you have Esau, you have the Arabs, you have the Hamites. They all took part in that conspiracy as well as the other nations, right? So this is why you go to the Middle East and there's nothing but everything's dried up, right? Why? Because that's a curse that the Lord put in that region, right? So it's not because, right? Because it wasn't always like that, right? The Garden of Eden and East of Eden, you read about in the book of Genesis that Egypt used to be a watered uh, locale like the Garden of Eden, right? So Abraham was not, in a damn sand dune, you know, uh, wearing a covered in cloth, try to avoid the sand storms, right? There was actually fruitful back there. And the scriptures say when the Israelites return to that part of the world that the Lord is going to cause springs to break forth, right? Scriptures say that what they have broken the brotherly covenant, right? So, like I said in the previous video, it's not that you know if you're a heathen, you can't say, "Well, the Lord maybe did that." No, you did it because you were enticed to sin. Yeah, you have predestination, but you know the Lord gave man uh, um, a choice, right? But at the end of the day, your spirit is not right, right? Joel chapter 3 and verse 7. Like, yeah, make sure this is still running because I was having some technical difficulties the other day. Joel chapter 3 and verse 7. Behold, I will stir them up from the place which you have sold them, thou there, and I will return your reward upon your head, right? And a good account is when the Moors ruled Europe, right? Which is, that was the Lord stirring up Jake, right? To kind of, get a little comeback, right? You know, but, you know, so let's get a timeline, right? Because we want to be as accurate as possible. You have what? Um, let's look up sub-Saharan slave trade. So that was from the 7th century to 20th century. The transatlantic slave trade took place between 16th and 19th century, right? So you had the Moors ruling around 500 uh, AD till 1500 for 1,000 years, right? And you still have Jake in other parts of the earth, right? But during this time, most of Jake was brought to the Americas, right? So that's one point, right? So that's what we do here at Great Bill Stone, Hebrew Israelite Camp. We fact check, right? We're not spilling no enraged rhetoric like IUIC. When you question them about the name of the Lord, they want to go into a tirade. Or you can call them what you want. They start sounding like damn demons, right? That's that unclean spirit inside of them, right? So that was the Lord stirring up Jake during these various times, right? Even here in America, Babylon the Great, which is why you see Jake in particular protest and things of that sort, right? Which is it's it's not expedient, right? To go to because for example that the conflict overseas between um, those two groups in the Holy Land, we got nothing to do with that. Those are heathens fighting over land that doesn't belong to them. But you got our people mingled amongst them as well, right? Because the Israelites are scattered everywhere. The majority are here in America, Babylon the Great, right? So the focal point, like Elder Apostle Hart says, is in America, Babylon the Great, right? The 144,000 great multitude are going to be delivered here in America, Babylon the Great. Isaiah 11:11 says, a remnant will be gathered from the other parts of the earth after the destruction, right? Via the elect, right? So that is rightly dividing the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash, right? So it says, Hanaya Ma Ayaram Man Hamakwam Ashar Makarthum Athum Shema Waha Shabbatiyah Gamalkam Babra Ashkam. Joel 3:8. And I will sell unto your sons and unto your daughters, and I will cause to be sold to your sons and to your daughters in the hand of the sons of Judah, and will sell them to what is that? Is that Sabians? Yeah, that word is Sabians, right? To a nation afar off, because the Lord hath spoken it, right? Because at the end of the day, right, when you read about these various slave trades, right? Like I said, Jake had a part in that, which Jake was selling Jake was selling Hamites. Hamites were selling Jake, right? Some of them assisted the Arabs in selling Jake and the sons of Ham, right? So that's what it's talking about, right? The Lord basically said, okay, you want to sell the tribes? That's going to happen to you too. I'm gonna stir up the Arabs, and they're going to put you into captivity as well. Then I'm going to send Esau. Then I'm going to send Moab, right? And so on and so forth. So it reads, Wa Makarathia Atha Banyakam, Wa Atha Banathyakum, Bayad Banya Yahawada, Wa Makaram, La Shaba'ayim, Al Gawaya Rahak, Kaya Yahawah Dabar. Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. says, proclaim this amongst the nations, sanctify yourselves unto the battle, stir up the warriors, come near, ascend up, all men unto war, basically, right? Which is the third woe, right? That's what we're doing. We're proclaiming amongst the nations the judgments that Yahweh Shemel Shah is going to bring, right? We're sanctifying ourselves for the battle in the ways of what? Receiving the words of Yahweh Shemel Shai, receiving the name that we will need to call in the time of Jacob's trouble, right? Receiving what the charagma is, right? All these things that are necessary and not taking it, right? Because once you take it, you're toast, right? And right, but you still got camps worrying about some damn fringes, but they don't teach what the charagma is, or they do, but they don't mention it like they should. That should be the main. That should always be mentioned. Like Elder Pastor says, that's the main prophecy, right? And the warriors are being stirred up, the armies of the earth, to come near, to ascend up on all men unto war, because that's what's coming, not peace. Yahweh Shai said, I come to send a sword, right? So it reads, Kwara'a, Kwara'awa, Za'ath, Bagawayim, Kwadashwa, Malakama, Ha'ayarwa, Hagabarium, Yagashwa, Ya'alwa, Kal Anashia, Ha Malachama, Hama Lachama. Verse 10 reads, beat your swords and your pruning hooks onto javelins. That word kat actually means to hammer. The word ramach actually means a javelin, not a spear. Right? Let the weaken, may they say, mighty am I, or warrior like am I. And that's what the nations are doing, right? They're talking their stuff. You got the nations speaking up against America, Babylon, great. You got Esau, his own people speaking up against him. So you got division in these last days, right? And that's all on point. That's all lined up with the prophetic word. So it says, Katwa atayakam la harabath wama zamarath yakam la ramachiam ha khalash ya amar gabar anya. The word zamar just means to prune, right? Stir them up and may stir them up, and they may enter all the nations round about, and may be gathered there, um, cause to descend, O Lord, your warriors. There, the Lord is going to bring, right, Yahweh Shai, the chariots, the remnant, which are going to get delivered. They're all going to be beside Yahweh Shai, next to Yahweh Shai, right? You know, Yahweh Shai is going to make a quick work, right? The elect are going to come down, you know, they're going to do their thing as well. But we're not really going to have to do a damn thing, because it's all Yahweh Shai is going to go ham, basically, right? because the Second Ezra chapter 13 says that there was sparks and mixed with fire and thunder and right. But we're gonna get, I mean, our lick with the armies as well. But it's just gonna be. I mentioned it before, and I went over the account. Like it says in Book of Malachi, that yeah, the elect are gonna fight, but it's gonna be something quick, because Second Ezra chapter 13 says that they're gonna get disintegrated, right? We're barely gonna be like, oh man, you know, that we're gonna descend and everything's gonna be ashes, like it says in the Book of Malachi. We might get a couple, laser beams in, in. But Yahushua is gonna do and the holy angels. Really, they're probably just gonna step back. It doesn't really say, but they're probably just gonna step back, and Yahushua is gonna, he's gonna show his strength, right? So I speak as a man when I say these things, right? Because there's no account that says, okay, Yahushua, okay, the holy angels are gonna step back, the elect are gonna step back, right? But anyways, it says, I washwa, wa ba'awa, call hagwayim, ma sabyab, wanak wabatazawa, shama, hanachath, Yahweh, gabar yakah. It's talking about the chariots descending, right? That word nachath, right? Tachath means under. Nachath means descend, right? Like Yarad, it's similar to Yarad. To ascend, Ilah, or what is it, Irag. They basically have their cognates. See how many more verses we got left. Archon. Let's look at that word. Um, I wash. Slovakia. So, let's see, where is it? Looking in my notes. See, I thought I missed something. Nope. Okay, so I wash, which says to hasten, to assemble. Really, the ah and the wah, you just pronounce it together, so it'd be wash, 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 wash. The ah is silent in a sense. Wash, wash. Because that little dot where the y is, it gives it like a o sound. If it's above the y, it gives it a eh, wah, wah, not wah. I was. was, wash. Which is says to gather, to assemble, to hasten. So you see it's cognate with iwar or ayar, which means to stir up, right? Joel chapter 3, verse 12. Right? So why does it say that they are stirred up, right? Why does it say that let me just find it right here. So how are they being stirred up? By this word, right? Verse 12 says, may they be stirred up and ascend up the nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat, because there I will sit to judge unto all the nations round about. Which will read, Ya Iwarwa, Waya Alwa, Hagawayim, Al Imak, Yahawashapat, Kaya Sham, Ashab, La Shapat Atha Kal Hagawayim, Masabyab. And they're being roused up because, right, via Esau Edom and his devices, right? Because he knows he's got to, cause division, right? The Book of Proverbs says that, or I believe that's Iraq, that there's a one that makes contention. That's Esau Edom, right? Joel chapter 3, verse 13. Send out the sickle, because ripe is the harvest. Enter and go down and descend, because it is full. The what is it? That word, God. I believe that means to press. The press wine press, it just means a press, right? For example, you press a t-shirt, right? It says from Ganath, Banath, Bath, Yaganath. The root is Yanan. So it just means like a press, right? Like you have a newspaper press, right? It's just somewhere where you have the ink basically stamped or pressed upon the newspaper, right? So it just means press. Nagan means, which says it's the root, to play, to strike strings. So that means like to play an instrument or to touch. So that makes sense. I mean, because it would either be nagan, as in to touch or press upon an instrument, or gath, which is used in the sense of a wine press to show two distinct things, right? Just the na is replaced by the tha, so that kind of makes sense. So it says Joel 3:13, because the press is because it's full to press, they overflow the vats, as in the wine press, right? Because that root is shakwa, meaning to irrigate or to give drink. The vats, because great is their evil, right? That's in Book Revelation as well, right? I recently went over that at camp, right? You have the Lord reaping the remnant, meaning reap just means to take hold of. And then you have the Lord taking hold of 2/3 and destroying them, right? They're going to be basically take part in the lake that burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the nukes, right? That will go steadfastly into Babylon, like Scripture says. So that's why it says, "Send out the sickle," right? That word for sickle is magal, right? Bashal means to boil or to roast, but also means to ripen. So it reads Shalachwa, Magal, Kaya, Bashal, Quatazayar, Ba'awa, Radwa, Kaya, Mala'a, Gath, Hashayakwa, Hayakwabium, Kaya, Rabah, Ra'ai Thumb. The wickedness is great, right? Joel chapter 3 and verse 14. Multitudes in the valley of decision. The word for translated for decision is haratazah, which means to cut off. So it really should say in the valley of cutting off, or in the veil of cutting off. Let's look at that word. Strong's H2742. Threshing instrument, sharp, diligent, gold, because fine gold is cut in a particular manner, right? And then sold as fine cut jewelry. Or a strict decision, right? So you could say it means decision, but figuratively, right? So haratazah can be used in a variety of applications. The root means to cut into, to sharpen, to dig, sharpened, poetically for gold, to cut into, to sharpen, to bring to a point, to wound skin deep, point of a spear. So you get the point, right? It says, because it is near the day of the Lord in the vale of decision, or in the valley of decision, right? But I read it as in the vale of cutting off, right? So it reads, Hamwanyam, Hamwanyam ba Imak ha Harataza Kaya Korab Yawam Yahawel ba Imak ha Harataza. Says it, verse 15, the sun and the moon will be darkened, and the stars will gather their glistening, as in they're going to withdraw their light. Shamash wa Yarach Quadarwa wa Kawakabian Asapwa Nag, Nagaham, or Nagam, Nagama, Salakia. Actually, I would say Nagaham. So it says, Joel 3 and 16, and the Lord from Zion he shall roar. Now that's not talking about us. That's literally the chariots, Yahweh Shai, right? Like I always say, you know, all the earth will see him, right? So that means he's either, I mean, he's going to be in that giant fathership, but, you know, he might come out and, you know, you might see a damn giant cover the earth. And, he might, you know, you just, I'm speaking as a man, right? He might roar and, you know, have people passing out, shitting themselves. It says he will place his voice and will shake the heavens and the earth, and the Lord will be a hope unto his people and refuge unto the sons of Israel. Right? So that's not talking about us, place his voice. It's talking about him, right? The Lord might, you know, he might, you know, interject while Yahushua is roaring. It might say, your time has come, heathens. You know, you never know. I'm speaking as a man, right? It's just gonna be crazy. It's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be a pretty sight. It's gonna be horrible. Think about a scary movie. This is gonna be like uh, way worse. It's gonna be a scary reality, right? So it reads, "Wa Yahweh Mataza Yawan Yasha'ag Wama Yerushalayim Yathan Kwalwa Wa Wa Ra'ashwa Shemayim Wa Arataza Wa Yahweh Machasa La'imwa Wama Wama'az Labanya Yasha'ala." right? That's Labanya Yasharala. Verse 17, and thou shalt know because I am the Lord your God that dwells in Zion, the mount of my holiness, and will be Jerusalem holy, and strangers will not pass by upon her anymore. Which reads, Wayadaitham, Kaya Anya Yahweh, Allahayakam, Shakan, Ba Tazayawan, Har Kwadashya, Mahayatha Yerushalayim, Kwadash Wazarium, La'a Ya Ibarwa Baha Iwad. Verse 18, and it shall come to pass in the day that is, that they will drop the mountains with sweet wine. Let's see if that's the word for drop. Let me check my notes actually. Slackish. Bear with me. So that word in the top means to distill. It's another way to say to drop, right? Sweet wine in the hills shall flow with fat. Which that word the lak, the word just laka is the root that just means to go or to walk. Shall flow with fat, chalab, and all watercourses of Judah shall flow with water, and from the fountain, from the house of the Lord, it shall proceed. It shall issue from, or it shall come out, and water unto the brooks of Shittim, the brook of Shittim. Basically, that's like it reads in Book of Ezekiel, Book of Revelation, that living waters will come out from Jerusalem, right? And it mentions Judah because that's the main tribe that woke up first, right? That's where that spring came out. The house of God are His people, right? Which dwells within us, right? Shittim is just a notable place, right? Mentioned, right? That sweet wine is His truth. That milk is the fundamentals, right? Judah waking up, that fountain, right? Proceeding and then becoming turning into what? The great army that the Lord prophesied in Ezekiel chapter 37. So it reads, Wahaya Bayawam Ha Hawa Yatapwa Haharyam Asias Waha Gabayath Talakna Halab Wakal Abiyakya Yahawada Yalakwa Mayam Wama Ayan Mabayath Yahawah Yataza'a Hashaka Atha Nachal Hashatyam. Sounds like that Biggie song. Who shot ya? Salaki, I just had to throw a little joke in there. That's how he sounded in the interviews. Yeah, baby. That's why you're. That's what. Never mind. That's just. I'm gonna keep it PG. Even though. That's why you fat mother. Salaki, I just had to throw a little sidewinder there. So it reads Wahaya by Yawam or Salaki. You already read that. And this is actually going to happen, right? The hills are going to flip. It's describing the kingdom, right? The living waters going out, the law going out, the hills flowing with milk, right? You're gonna have beasts everywhere, pasturing the land. It's gonna be greenery everywhere, right? The child will dwell with the asp and will dwell in the woods, like it says in the book of Ezekiel, right? Joel chapter 3 and verse 19. It says Egypt will be a desolate, or Salakia, Egypt desolate will be, and Edom a wilderness of desolation. What's that talking about? America, Babylon the Great. Destroying, right? You goddamn devils via thermonuclear fire, right? Edom, Egypt is America, Babylon the Great. Edom is so-called white man. Goddamn devils. Now some of our people look like them. Some of our people look like so-called Africans, Chinese, right? We mention race or color to distinct between various nations, right? But you devils got to pay. 2/3 you got to pay. You heathens, you got to pay. So it says, in Edom, a wilderness desolation it will be on account of the violence of the sons of Judah, which they had poured blood innocent in their land. Because they did that in Jerusalem, they did that in the slave trade, and they did that in America, Babylon the Great, which is where Judah resided, right? So that's talking about three different places: the Holy Land. The Roman armies persecuted the Jews, the black Jews. Black is just a color. I mean, there's other color Jews, right? Uh, which they poured out blood innocent in their land, meaning in the land which Judah resided, right? So that's what it's talking about, right? In a sense. That's why, see, the Lord gives reason for all the things that happen, right? Matazar, so it says Matazarium la shama thahaya wa adawam lama dabar shama thahaya ma hamas banya yahawada ashar shapakwa dam nakwaya ba ratazam. Verse 20 reads, and Judah forever will dwell, will inhabit, and Jerusalem to generation and generation. Which reads, Wa Yahawada la Iwalam, Tashab wa Yerushalayim la Dawar wa Dawar. Verse 21, and the innocency, and I will um, proclaim innocent their blood, which had not proclaimed innocent, and the Lord will dwell in Zion, right? Because when the Lord put Jake in these various captivities, he didn't. Our blood wasn't innocent that was spilled. We deserve that, right? Even today, right? You got Jake, you know, being a damn demon and killing all the Jakes, right? Which the Lord cast away, right? He's going to cast away 2/3. He's not going to treat it as innocent. The remnant, right? If you're martyred in this thing, right? Or basically now he's treating, right, our blood innocent because the remnant are returning, right, to Yahweh Shemel Shai. But there was a time when these other captivities, the Lord said, F it, I'm going to destroy them. Now he's returning via the word, via Yahweh Shai, right? And the elect will push into the kingdom, Ba'ashem Mashayak Yahweh Shai. So with that, this is Joel chapter 3, which is the last chapter, going into the Hebrew. It's Brother Yatazadak, hero of Israel. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to you others and apostles, a great millstone. Kwame Sha'ala, Abad Babal, Shalom. Oh, actually, let me read the last verse. Wa Nakwayataya, Dama, La'a, Nakwayataya, Wa Yahweh, Shakan, Bataza Yawan. Shalom to the hopeful elect, starting with 144,000, the nation of Israel, and a large multitude, men, women, and children that are returning to the Most High God in these last days. And Abad Bal, Shalom, which means peace, prosperity in the ancient Hebrew tongue, or simply Shalom.